Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Over the last several days, I've been emailing back and forth, helping a young man design this um, wallpaper type art, continuous, whatever you want to call it. But he's had some. I've helped him out, and then today he came back and he had some problems, and we figured it out. But to draw this right here, and if you ever want to draw it, this is what you want to get. You want these two angles to whatever you want to call it. You have to start, you cannot just take a polygon and set it on four-sided and draw it because the angle, because you can't use the control button, so the angle is not going to be perfect. Well, if you take two polygons and put them like this, that angle is perfect because it's a six-sided polygon and you're dividing it up. So we're going to take the Smart Fill tool and do that right there. Doesn't matter where you start on the page. I'm going to left click, right click. I'm going to make it a half a point line. I'm going to go up to object and convert the outline to an object, and then I'm going to left click and right click. You're on the home stretch already. Control D and make a duplicate. Double click on it and move the rotation to there. Rotate it 60 degrees. Control D, Control D, Control D. Okay, you're there. Now we just need to delete some lines, and it's a lot easier. I'm going to bring this in just so I don't make any mistakes. But I'm going to make two parts of this because he has some problems with the lines not syncing up. All we need is these two shapes and these two lines, or four lines. So I think the best way to do this would be able to, let's set our nudge factor on like 11 inches, 12 inches. And let's get these four shapes and nudge them up. Well, I didn't nudge them up enough. Let me nudge them up twice. Because there's our four shapes. And now I'm going to left click, right click. And you can see them in the progression of this. Now, we need to take this thing and select it all, and then get it with the shape tool and select it all and right click, break apart. By doing that, now we can get rid of some lines with the virtual segment delete key. You see, we don't need that line. We don't need that line. We don't need that line. There's a little bit of a tail line right there. We don't need these interior lines. We don't need these lines. We don't need that line. There's a little X line there. We don't need that line. We don't need those lines. And I can see, because I've done this a couple of times with him, there's little bitty nubs that had more nodes than they needed. That's what we want. Exactly. Now I could just use this, but I'm going to show you why in just a second. Well, you know what? I can't just use this. Forget that other filling it in. But here, I might even do this all in one video. Here's his problem, or his next problem. Okay, I got a little bit of a tail line right there again. That's because there were some nodes in the drawing and the virtual segment delete key just didn't get to them. And I'm going to just look around real quick. See, there's a piece of line, because when we deleted them, when we broke everything apart, now here's kind of the proof in the pudding. I'm going to turn this into that size line. Well, maybe not quite that thick. The lines aren't connected, and they're going to show up. So I'm going to select the whole thing, get the shape tool, select the whole thing with the shape tool, and I'm going to go to Windows, Dockers, and Join Curves. And I've got them all selected, and it's going to work, except for on this one. See how I turned out that corner? So let's back up here. Because the way we drew it, there's double nodes. So just start deleting nodes, and If you delete the line, you delete the wrong node. See, I need to get that inner node. So now there's only two. I can select it and apply. And I can go in and it's almost easier than trying to do the whole thing. But you can do the whole thing. We just need to correct these two spots. And you're probably never going to draw this, but it might help you in the future do something else. Now I'm going to select the whole thing and hit apply. Now, if you notice, some of the lines are sticking over the edge, and that's what we want. And it's not a perfect symmetrical drawing because some of them are thicker and thinner, and I think we could probably fix that because this it's just the way it is. So group it together, Control G. It is 18 inches tall plus. I'm going to make it 18. I'm going to change my nudge factor to 18. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate. And look at that. It just kind of makes a pattern. Now, it doesn't look that spectacular yet. Well, I don't know if it does at all. I'm not 100% happy with it, but still going to work on it. Control G to group, Control D to duplicate. Now we need to make it 10 inches or something round number and nudge it 10 inches. Now we can take this and Control D and make it all the way across. And you can make as many as you want. I think I must have 2 copies there, and I did. Now, that one's actually bigger. I think I just when I made it smaller. Now we've got the same basic problem with the lines not touching, but I think now there's just one line. So what we want to do is select it all, ungroup it all, hit it with the shape tool. Now, sometimes that little blue one will cause this problem. And I'm just going to, because my join curves is so small, it's not going to do anything but join the curves that are closed. And look at that. That was his last problem and an easy fix for him. Now let's just see if we can play around with it and see some other things now that we got closed curves. I'm going to hold down the shift key and hit the rectangle tool. Now, these lines aren't really touching the line. So I'm going to bring that box in, holding down the shift key and just bring it in a little bit. And then I'm going to see if the Smart Fill tool will work between the lines. Okay, but see, we don't have any separation there, or we do have separation. And it completely changes the look, but you could do it, really easy and do the whole thing. But it really, now it makes those lines that are thicker and thinner apart kind of stand out. Anyway, then if you put some yellow to it, outline it, it looks pretty cool. I know nobody's ever going to draw that, but it might give you a tip or two about fixing those joints or just making something symmetrical. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.